Welcome to another edition of Stuff You Don't Usually See. As a reminder, we do a recording for a group of radio stations every week, and that's what we're doing today. You don't usually see us do this. We just kind of take care of it and ship it electronically to the group of stations, but you're going to see it today. Guest, Caroline Osk. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. So I have your title correct, I think. Solid Waste Division Manager?
Yes, sir.
All right. I got it. So you ready to do the radio thing?
I'm ready.
Okay. Act casual. All right. Here we go. Well, thank you and good morning. My guest today is Caroline Osk. She is the Solid Waste Division Manager for the City of College Station. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Oh, I'm excited to be here.
Well, thanks. Okay, so here's what I want you to do, because we have another semester that is going to start soon, and that means we have thousands of new students, and
Yes.
thousands of those students are in our neighborhoods, living in houses and duplexes and fourplexes and so forth. But they're responsible for taking out their trash, in some cases putting brush and bulky items at the curb, in some cases recycling properly. And of course, we've got new staff and professors and other faculty and so forth. We got new people. So it seemed like this would be a good time for you to explain how these folks in our neighborhoods can do the right thing as it relates to your world. So talk me through it.
Yes. So most people, when they think about solid waste and recycling, everything is out of sight, out of mind. Once you put it on the curb line and you move, it somehow magically disappears.
It does.
And that is where my division comes in.
Okay.
So, as you know, with the customer base that we have in College Station, movement happens all the time.
Yes, it does.
Especially with the student body that we have here. And so we just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about solid waste collections and recycling in general, and especially when that movement happens. And right now, it is happening.
Yes, it is. I see it. I take walks behind City Hall
Yes.
throughout the week, and that neighborhood has lots of activity at the curb.
Yes. So we're seeing quite a bit of refuse all over the place. So we just want to talk a little bit about what our residential collection looks like and how our customers can kind of help out our city employees whenever they take out their trash.
Okay.
So, for example, most people don't know that we have various types of trucks and they perform specific collection activities.
I've learned that over time.
Yes. So we have quite a few trucks that specifically pick up residential solid waste.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a residential automated truck. We have 4, and we have 4 different routes, and they cover the entirety of every single family home within the city.
So in the entire city, that's divided into only 4 routes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So they are picking up 1,300 containers a day. That is quite a bit.
Each route.
Each route.
All right.
Yes. So right now we're servicing about 38,000 curbside or single-family homes as well as multifamily. So we have a ton of residents to get through on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So anything that we can put out for our customers to make that efficiency happen so that we can collect everybody's trash, we'll happily do so, and that's why we're here.
Okay.
So the time that you place out your container as well as where you place it is crucial.
Yeah.
And I think most people don't realize that as long as you place it at the curb line, again, it magically disappears. But where you place your container is crucial, again. So we want to use the rule of 4s. So 4 feet away from any other container, including if you have an extra solid waste container or a recycling container, if you happen to have recycling and solid waste on the same day, as well as away from 4 feet away from any additional items or fire hydrants or containers, parallel parked vehicles,
Mailboxes. But why do you need that much room?
Because there's an automated arm that comes off of the truck, and when it comes to grab your container, it has to be able to pick that up. If that arm can't get around the width of the container, we can't collect it for you.
Got
and
it.
then we get the phone calls.
So, for instance, if you've got your solid waste container snug up against your recycling container, that's no good.
No, sir.
Okay.
And especially not good when it's next to a parallel parked vehicle. We don't want to damage anybody's property, so more than likely we will pass it up, and I'm sure we will get a call in. Our drivers, equipment operators do report those back to us so that we know in the admin office when containers are missed, so that we can talk to the resident and do some education and outreach on that.
Question.
Yes.
Are there cameras on all of your trucks to where, because I don't know if they're on all the trucks or just some of the trucks or none of the trucks, but it seems like there are times when you're challenged by a customer about something and you go back and watch the video and
Yes,
yeah.
We do have cameras. We have anywhere from 4 to 6 cameras on our residential automated trucks, the ones with the arms on the side, as well as on our FEL commercial trucks, which are considered front-end loads where they pick up dumpsters and they dump them in.
So warning people, if you're trying to blame something on one of our drivers, like you got a mirror hit or you think they knocked over your trash can with, when the trash was still in, whatever. We've got cameras.
We do have
We're going to go
cameras.
back and look.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Keep going.
So another rule of thumb is to please place your container out before 8 a.m. We do get quite a few, and I will even say it's on my street as well. Of the 25 houses that are on my street, when the time that I leave for work in the morning at 7:15, there are very few containers that are out on time. So go ahead and place them out before 8 a.m. so we can get you collected.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Don't pile stuff on top of your trash can.
Yes.
That's a rule, right?
Do not pile stuff on top of your trash can.
Or around it.
Or around it. That's a great point. So our equipment operators are not allowed by policy to get out of their vehicles unless there's some, outlandish circumstance that's happening. But usually we do not allow them to get out of their vehicles. The reason that we have automated trucks is for safety and efficiency. We don't want our equipment operators touching anybody's refuse. We don't want them going through bags of anything. We don't know what's in them. So we want to keep them as safe as possible and as well as efficiency. So if we have to stop at all 1,300 single family homes on those routes, it's going to take us quite a bit of time to get through everyone or collecting everybody's trash.
And plus, anytime a driver's outside of the vehicle, that puts the driver at risk of being hit or
Yes.
some other kind of hazard.
Yes, and we've had that happen before.
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone's seen the video that you guys published for one of our equipment operators who's back in the office. Fantastic. We're happy to have him back.
Yes. Okay, so those are some to-dos. What else, and don't do's? What else do we need to know?
So let's talk real quick about bulk and brush items.
Okay.
Because that seems to be the overload of the season at the moment. For summertime, move in, move out. Everyone wants to get rid of their old broken items, furniture,
Lots.
carpet.
Yeah.
There's lots. So rule of thumb, what we'd like to chat a little bit about is where you place those piles as well. If you can separate them, bulk items like furniture and old appliances versus brushy items. We've had lots of storms lately, right? So if you're cutting down tree limbs or whatever, separate them. That would be fantastic for us. We have one type of truck that picks up pretty large items. They're called boom or grapple trucks. They've got the giant arm that comes down with the claw.
Yeah.
Some people get really excited about them, including my child.
Okay.
So those will pick up your larger items like couches. And then anytime you have brushy items, if you could put those into a separate pile, those when we take them to the landfill, they get mulched. So as long as we can keep those separate, there could be an additional lifespan for our brushy items.
Do those drivers ever get out and have to kind of do some final cleanup or things that the big grapple truck can't quite handle?
Yes.
Okay.
So our guys are adamant about making sure that their customers are happy. They have a relationship with all of their customers. They want you happy, and I think that they do a fantastic job. And right now, they've been working late hours. They've been working on weekends so that we can make sure that we get everybody's work orders in. And they will. They will go the extra mile of using. They will use shovels if they need to, brooms, anything that they can. They want you to be happy. So
yeah, okay.
their service.
And we get compliments about them, and we pass those along to our upper management and city council members because they sure like that. But we do. That service is always highly rated for the city.
And they do a fantastic job. And I think they're kind of unsung. Most of solid waste are unsung heroes.
Well, the magic folks, like you said, things just magically disappear very efficiently. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
So anytime we get compliments, they are humbled, and they really enjoy when people wave or just honk at them or just notice them in general.
For sure.
It's nice to see.
Okay, so we covered household garbage. We covered brush and bulky.
Yes.
Do we need to talk about recycling at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about recycling.
Let's do it.
Recycling's a little bit of a different animal. Most people think that you can, if it seems recyclable, it can be recyclable. So we all are wish cyclers, right?
Oh.
We want to give whatever items that we use an additional lifespan, but that's not actually how it works. So there are various items that we can take and various items that we cannot. So, for example, plastics. Everyone assumes that if it's plastic, it can be recycled. That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
Our recycling program only accepts type 1 and types 2 plastics. The way that you can figure out if your item is recyclable is you can turn it over. There should be the triangle sign. There's a number in the middle of the triangle. If it has a 1 or a 2, fantastic. Make sure it's rinsed and cleaned. You don't want a stinky container.
Okay.
And throw it directly in your bin. You do not need to have it bagged. If it's not a 1 or 2, just assume it's not recyclable. It needs to
Okay.
go in your household garbage container.
Question.
Yes.
So even for bottled water bottles,
Yes.
and let's say it's number 1 and number 2, but it has a little plastic ring still on the neck, from when you took the top off.
Right.
Do you have to take that little ring off of there?
I don't know that you would be able to get the ring. Most of the time, you won't be able to get the ring off. If you can, fantastic.
But don't
that
worry
is
about
a
it.
wonderful question, because the plastic that's made of the bottle is a completely different plastic as the top.
Right.
So it is ideal to take the top off, since it's not a 1 or 2 plastic. It's a harder plastic.
How about the label? Should we
Labels.
take those off or
I
no?
think the label's fine.
Okay. Don't worry about the label.
Don't worry about.
All
the
right,
label.
I'm just
Yes,
asking random
if you
questions.
can take off the cap.
Okay. So that's a good guide for plastics. What else do you? I know that a real issue is what do we call it? It's not. Is it contaminated recyclables? What do you call it when they're dirty? Basically, like
Right.
pizza boxes that have stains and things. That's the kind of stuff you want to avoid people putting into their recycle container.
Yes. So it's just called contamination.
Okay.
That would be any item that's not recyclable in our program. So not
Yeah.
all programs are created equal, I guess. It depends on the sorting facility that's in town or that the city utilizes, and the types of items that they can receive and can sort out, can sell. Because I know a sorting facility or MRF, materials recovery facility is the actual term.
Okay.
They have certain types of infrastructure and equipment, and that kind of limits them on what they can resell, what they can sort out. So takes all types of plastic, or not all types of plastics, 1 and 2 plastics, different types of paper. But you're right, if there is a greasy pizza box, that grease then causes it to be contaminated, because that grease can't be sorted through in the pulping process of paper so you can reuse it.
Yeah.
So most people don't know that as well.
I had such a smart question that just left my mind, but it was sort of along the lines of pizza boxes. No. It was diversion from the landfill. So I know you have a percentage that you probably shoot for.
Yes.
For College Station,
Absolutely.
the diversion rate from the landfill. What is that rate, and how close to that are we? Because there's usually a gap of some kind.
Right. So I actually don't know the diversion rate of what we have right now off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
I can talk about our contamination rate.
Okay.
So right now, our goal is to be under 30% for contamination.
Okay.
We always end up around, we end up a little bit higher than 30. And then our diversion rate, we always end up a little lower than 30. So 30 is kind of the goal on both sides.
Okay.
It just depends on the amount of materials that are coming in from those that are using our single stream containers, as well as some of our commercial entities, since we look at both.
From a contamination standpoint, where do we mostly go wrong? Is it stuff like stained pizza boxes, or what could we change that would get our numbers where they need to be?
Well, from a city standpoint, we're actually looking into a bin tagging program and doing education and outreach, so more of like boots on the ground type program. For about a month, we will send everybody out and we will knock on people's doors so that we get 2 rounds of recycling. So recycling's bi-weekly, right? So we'll get 2 rounds of everybody's homes. We'll knock on people's door and we'll do actually in-person, door-to-door kind of like oops tags, or do education and outreach with them and let them know how they're doing on their contamination, as well as what they're doing right. So that's a program that we're hoping to have maybe in the next year and a half. I know it takes some time. We just put together a proposal this past week. As for the types of items that we see most often, to be honest with you, it's where people are just utilizing their recycling containers as another garbage container.
Right.
So, and soft plastics. So most people think that you can get rid of like your single-use grocery bags. That's not necessarily true for us. We can't do anything with soft plastics. So no grocery bags, no like cellophane wrap, no air pillows, styrofoam.
Right.
Can't use it.
No good.
It actually clogs up the sorting equipment, so we don't want it at all. If you want to recycle your grocery bags, there are kiosks in front of H-E-B. I don't know if they're in front of Kroger, but I know they are in front of H-E-B. So you can take them directly to H-E-B.
That's good to know. Yes. So I could keep asking you questions
all
day long.
And I could probably keep talking about it
all
day long.
So we probably need to wrap it up. But for folks who would like to know more about the right ways to take care of their household garbage and brush and bulky and recyclables and so forth, where can they go to get that kind of information, to do it right?
Sure. Go to our website. The website is cstx.gov/recycle. We have a beautifully published household garbage and recycling guide. It's the first, I guess, image that you'll see that pops up. It's a rotating image. One is for our household and recycling guide. The second is, I will publish this real quick, push this, is our College Station curbside app.
Yes.
So please utilize our website. It is there. If you have any other questions that doesn't look like it's published directly on our guide, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you. Our main line for our Public Works Department is 979-764-3690. We will happily talk to you about what you can and cannot recycle if it's not already published on our webpage.
Perfect. You did a great job.
Thanks.
Thank you for talking through all of this stuff. And listen, thank you guys for letting us come on and talk about the city of College Station. And that is stuff you don't usually see.
Like I said, I could talk to you all about this stuff.